Actually, we're going to continue from the last episode where we were talking about campaign managers and what makes a good campaign manager in Sault Ste. Marie. Again, this is Hammertime with Genesio Hammertime Pachaco and your cameraman Pete Veery. So
yeah, before you start, I want to say hi to my friend Mario, Paul Mario in Toronto, because he also goes to www.suitoday.com and
cool.
lives in Brampton. So hi Mario, and we'll see you in the springtime.
Okay. Let's get back. Now, I was saying that when you're looking at a campaign manager should be the opposite of the candidate. You agree or disagree?
And you know what? Each individual has their likes and dislike, and sometimes you can have somebody like oil and water, and and like you say, it clicks. They might not like each other per se, but it works.
Yeah.
And if both are intellectually honest with each other, and they think of the big picture instead of themselves, I say it's a good idea.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I think part of the problem I saw with the Liberal campaign, and like I said, I've come to to like Christian, and even though I don't know him, Corey Gardy as well. But I mean, what you had is you had two young single Italian males who had been roommates, and how do you get a diversity of thought out of that? Like, my theory is that the campaign manager is the reality check on a campaign, and a good campaign manager has to be able to broaden a candidate's horizon.
Yeah, he's like a sounding board to the candidate, what he sees out there, and then he can throw a perspective which sometimes the candidate doesn't see because they're on the go all the time. And a lot of times they can miss something that is obvious, and the campaign manager can sit down with the candidate and say, this is the way I see it. And the candidate can say, oh, I never thought it this way. Yeah, and they should. One thing about a campaign manager and a candidate, they should always have an honest, open line of communication.
But I mean, I look at, Ken Walker, and part of the problem with his campaign is that originally when he had won, he had surrounded himself, not intentionally, but they were his supporters at the time, white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. And, that's a good, I have all the respect, but in a riding like Sault Ste. Marie, you need a much broader base than that. And myself being young, Italian, Catholic, it added a whole different dimension because I was able to give Ken another picture.
Perspective from your ethnic background.
And broaden, and it's the same thing. I mean, I look at Roswell and Brooks. I mean, Roswell has a lot of book smarts, and you have to be an engineer, but politically, political street smarts is another question. Whereas Brooks, whether you like him or hate him, does have political street smarts. And that's a good combination. Now, moving on to Cameron Ross, one of the reasons I think Kayiko would make, or someone like Kayiko, I'm just using Kayiko as an example, would make a good campaign manager is that, Ross is from the country.
Yeah, he's on the island.
And he's from the island. He's got a military background. Very British. And nothing wrong with that. On the other hand, Kayiko's from the city. His public service has been city council as opposed to military. Italian,
Destruction,
background, and I mean I think they probably have a lot in common ideologically.
Because they're ideology kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I'm assuming that Keiko's probably Catholic, even though I don't know.
I believe so, but you have to ask him.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm saying that would add a whole different perspective, and it would make, and especially since Keiko does have some experience with electoral success. I mean, he's a 3-time councillor, and he has been a candidate before. So I mean, he knows a lot of the stresses and the. So that's what I mean. On the other hand, I don't think Keiko would make a good campaign manager for, say, Christian Provenzano.
Yeah.
Because I think there's too much.
Yeah, I don't know them that well. Like if I see him on the street, kind of thing, I'll say hi and talk and chit chat.
Sure.
But I wouldn't know how he would organize or how he would get along with a potential candidate. So you probably know more about that than me, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'm not going to go into the NDP because I agree with you that I think Tony's lucked out with Glenn.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
That's my motto.
And I personally believe that Glenn's probably responsible for getting Tony elected
federally. I think it's
federally.
a combination of both. I think it's a combination of both, kind of thing. And,
yeah.
But I think it'll be interesting. It'll be an interesting year this year.
Yeah.
The provincial election, federal election. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And to me, I'm a political junkie. I love it.
Yeah. Now, going back to the Liberals, I think Ted Brooks would make a good campaign manager for Christian or for Roswell.
Okay.
But I don't know about Terry Sheehan. I think
you know what? I met Terry a few times, and I found like before, he ran against Tony, I think, a few years back, and I didn't know him that well.
Yeah.
But then I got to meet him a few times, and I like his outlook in life in the sense of he's always looking for to do things better. And,
yeah.
And I met him, so I had the look in the person's eye.
Yeah.
And I think he's a decent human being.
No, I agree on that front, but I'm saying, I mean, who would make a good, I mean, do you think Brooks could manage a Terry Sheehan campaign?
That I don't know, because I don't know that gentleman that well, kind of thing.
Okay.
So it won't be wise for me to comment on something I don't have no perspective, kind of thing.
Sure.
So.
Well, let me ask you, what would you look for in a campaign manager?
Person that is willing to welcome everybody that comes through the campaign office.
Yeah.
Find out what they like to do. Help them organize whatever their strengths are. They like to do signs. They like to do calling because they might be strong verbally and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't care who it is. You know what I mean? If that person has the energy, and he or she has the time to come through that door,
yeah,
I value and respect their views, because not everybody's good at one thing or another. But if it's like a hockey team, you find, because you have 25 players with 25 different personalities, but you bring them together as a team.
Sure. But okay, we've got about a minute left.
Okay.
Let me ask you, if you were running provincially or federally for the NDP or the Greens?
Never.
Oh, you'd never run for the NDP or the Greens?
No,
okay.
I would run for the NDP, not the Greens.
Okay. Who would you pick as your campaign manager?
You know what? And we're like oil and water. I pick you.
Well, if you ran for the Greens, I might...
No. As a New Democrat, because you're organized, you're a good organizer, and you are very in tune with what's happening in the city.
Sure.
And I think we're completely different, but a lot of times that difference sometimes makes a good team.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.